Good evening. Hello, welcome to Stampin' by Hannah here live on Facebook this evening. I'm hoping I am in the right place. It's been one of those weekends. I think everything's a little bit crazy at the minute, isn't it, anyway, with everything that's going on. But then I've had a weekend of solo parenting because my husband is working long shifts. And so my brain is completely gone. And then I've just stood a minute silence, stood on the doorstep. Oh, didn't want to cry at the beginning of a Facebook Live, but never mind. I'll try and get over myself. I did ask my husband, actually, about a week ago, at what point can I stop crying about the Queen? I'm not... Every time I think about it gets me. But anyway, we'll try not to sob. So, Facebook Live, Stampin' Up. Here I am. My name is Hannah. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. I have one card for you today and a couple of card ideas. But I wanted to share with you a suite that I have shared with you before, at least I have on YouTube, and it's the Abigail Rose suite. I love this suite. It's not a suite that I thought when I first picked this catalogue up, oh, I have to get this one. But actually, I'm really pleased I did, because the stamp set, and I'm sorry I've got a horrible shadow today, the stamp set is gorgeous, as is the designer series paper. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you today, because I know this probably looks a little bit random, that suddenly I'm sharing something from the annual catalogue that's been out for 6 months already. But, and this is, my printer is not happy, coming up on the 1st of October is World Card Making Day. And Stampin' Up are putting on a fabulous event specifically for World Card Making Day. And they are sharing 3 kind of bundles, and so 3 project ideas, and Cottage Rose is one of those bundles that's part of World Card Making Day. So there's Cottage Rose, there's Cottage Wreaths, which I don't actually own, and then there's Warm Welcome. Now this, let's see, my printer is so not happy, it's really not printed it out very well. Hello Emma, lovely to see you. So Warm Welcome is brand new, and it will be in the January to June catalogue, I believe, next year. I've given it to us a bit early for World Card Making Day. So that is on its way to me. That'll arrive with me on Thursday. So next Sunday's Facebook Live, we'll be playing with Warm Welcome. But for today, I thought we'd dig out Cottage Rose and make a card with this. Now, I do have a couple of cards, a couple of projects I've made with it already that you might well have seen. So there is this one that I made when I first received this suite, and this is actually a case of one of the cards in the catalogue, because, and I really need to sort out a better filming angle, but there's always, every stamp set in the catalogue has kind of samples with it, and I just like, every now and again, sometimes I do like to kind of just make something, like take the sample as inspiration. So that's what I did here. The sample in the actual catalogue, they've used blends and they've used various other bits of I think they've actually fussy cut designer series paper, and I didn't do that, and I changed the colours and various other things on it. But so there was that one. I do love that card. And then I made this card a few weeks ago. And you might not be able to see actually, really subtle stamping in the background. I just love the colour combination, really soft. And then I did this little tag, totally inspired by something I'd seen on Instagram. And the background circle is from another stamp set called Watercolour Shapes, which is another, to be honest, it's a stamp set that's been on my shelves for ages. And at the moment, I'm having one of those times where I can't put it away. It keeps coming out. The card I posted for Inspire Create Challenge this past week also uses the same circle. I love this card. This is supposed to be spooky. Not totally sure it's spooky, but I don't really do Halloween. Inspire Create Challenge is great fun. And I set the challenges and managed to set myself a proper challenge, because I do not do a Halloween, and so spooky was just not something in my repertoire. But that watercolour circle really helped. Anyway, that's going on completely off on a tangent, isn't it? So this is Abigail Rose Suite and the Cottage Rose stamp set. So, shall we get started? Now, before I pull everything apart, because I've got, as usual, I've made myself a sketch that you can't work out because it's just a mess. But anyway, let's have a look at the designer series paper, because this paper is really, really pretty. It's all kind of neutral tones, but really lovely, lovely floral patterns. This is a bit 60s, 70s for me. I just can't, I don't know, there's a bit of me that can't bring myself to cut it up. I really love crumb cake at the best of times, and this really, just beautiful. There is a little bit of pink in here as well. Is it pale? Oh, what's the colour? Do still have the petal pink. It is petal pink. I'll get there in the end. So there's a petal pink stripe, and there's some petal pink on the piece that we're going to use today, actually, which is this notepaper. It's not notepaper, is it? It's something else. But you know, my brain. So if you didn't catch the very beginning of this video, my brain is somewhere. I think it's still outside my front door. And because that's where I've been. Normally these videos are at 7:30 on a Sunday evening, but I felt that it just wasn't right for me to be doing a Facebook Live during a minute's silence. So I thought I'll put it back till just after 8 o'clock. So, shall we get making? I have got quite a few bits of paper today. I've got a card base of crumb cake. I've got a layer of basic white and a piece of that designer series paper. And then I've got some scraps because we're going to do some stamping. I've got the, what are these called? The Cottage Flowers dies, which pair up with the Cottage Rose stamp set. And I've also pulled the Blossoming Happiness dies because they have in them this fabulous, like, top of a notebook die that I thought we would use on the top of that piece of designer series paper. So I do have my stamp cut and emboss machine just off to one side, but I'm not going to pull it in and out because it's just too awkward. So the first thing I thought we'd do is do a little bit of stamping, and then we can do the die cutting. Stamping and colouring of these flowers, and then kind of go from there. So there are two floral stamps I'm going to use today. The really big, kind of big statement flower stamp, and then this little one. Now, if you're looking at the set of dies, the die for this doesn't immediately jump out at you. Obviously, you've got that die for that stamp. I'll turn it over, actually, it might be easier for you to see. So that die for... Turn it the right way up. No. Oh, goodness me. My brain... See, told you my brain is not functioning. There we go. But this die, this stamp, is actually on this great big die here. So we do need to give it a little bit of room when we stamp this one to make sure we can die cut it out. And then I've also got the leaves as well, and a sentiment. I'm going to go for best wishes and keep it really neutral. Oh, there we go. So let's grab a piece of basic white cardstock and get these stamped out first. So I'm going to do all my stamping in crumb cake. Because I've got crumb cake cardstock. So one of the joys of stamping up for me is the fact that I know that everything's going to coordinate. I've got ink that matches paper, that matches cardstock, and it's all going to coordinate and nothing's going to look weird. Because I find that sometimes if you go into one of your big box stores, you pull some really stunning paper, and then you go home and then nothing quite matches, and that used to really frustrate me. And so that's how I kind of fell into stamping up. That coordination element really, really makes me very happy. So I'm going to stamp this big floral first, like that. Then I'm going to do 3 of the leaves. Now I'm leaving some space between, and you're going to look at that and go, why are you stamping it like that? It will make sense in a minute. And then I'm going to stamp this one right on the end, because we've got to get that, that die is going to be very strange to die cut. And then I also want to just pop on my sentiment. I'm going to pop this right at the top. Hopefully you can still see, I'm not totally in the way. There we go. Now, they're very pretty. And they're very pretty as they are, but I thought we could do with some colour today. So the other thing I have pulled out, and if you saw my Instagram stories about an hour ago, you'll have seen this colour combination already. I've got soft succulent, fresh freesia, pale papaya, and then obviously my crumb cake. And I just thought that was really kind of springy rather than autumnal, which is probably what the colours we should be heading for, but these are just too pretty. So I thought we could colour these images a little bit with some blending brushes. So, of course, I've moved everything out of the way, left my blending brushes across the room. So I do absolutely love the Stampin' Up! Blending brushes. They're so super soft. I have kind of one for kind of each kind of colour family. So I have a green one, a blue one, a purple one. Haven't been used very much. A red one. Because there's a kind of mixed feeling about whether you need one for every single colour or not. But for me at the moment, I'm quite happy just with like one per kind of group of colours. So there's our soft succulent, and I'm not kind of colouring the whole leaf either. I'm just adding kind of a hint of colour on those. There we go. And you're going to look at this thing, this looks an absolute mess, but once you die cut it, it's going to look really soft, because obviously all of the kind of outer bits are going to disappear. So, fresh freesia. I'm going to do the fresh freesia. I'll just tap that off a little bit. This big floral over here. And the great thing about using blending brushes as well is that you've got that variation of colour. You can you've got dark areas and lighter areas without having to get like several colours of Stampin' blends out. And I do love my blends, I really do, but sometimes they hurt my head. And this means I've got really quick colour. So I'm going to do the same with the purple papaya, and I'm coming in from the bottom with this one because I want it stronger in the middle and then the outside to be quite light. There we go. And look at those. They are, I mean, these images are so pretty. So pretty. So let's get all of these die cut. So we've got that one for there. We've got these leaves they're going to have to go through a couple of times, and then this great big die for this one flower over here. And our, what's the name of that die set? Blossoming Happiness dies for the top of that piece of designer series paper. Hello, Vanessa. Lovely to see you. So, let's grab out the plates of it. Now, I use my Big Shot all the time. And the one thing I do every single time I use my Big Shot is I grab my washi tape. I do not trust myself that I'm going to the dies aren't going to jump about. So I still have quite a heap of washi tape that lives on my desk. I stick it to the back of my hand so it's less sticky. And then I can use that to make sure that my dies are not going to jump about and they're going to cut exactly where I want them. So, slight bit of concentrating going on. and I've just heard my front door, which means that my husband is now in from work. He knows that I'm on a live, so he shouldn't interrupt me. But hey, who knows? Anything is possible. So I'm going to run that through. So there is quite a bit of die cutting with this card today, but hopefully it will be worth it. I really do need to get myself one of the mini cut and emboss machines, because I do think that would be very handy for live video. Rather than having to move. When I do pre-recorded, I tend to cut out this bit where I die cut everything. Because it's boring, isn't it? You're not actually watching anything. So, sorry about that. Can't do that on live. How is everybody? Has everybody had a lovely weekend? Has anybody got anything planned for tomorrow? I mean, there's not much that actually we can do tomorrow, is there? Other than, of course, watch the entire morning. My entire morning will be spent glued to BBC News, I think. Because I can't miss a second, other than dropping my children off with their fun ante for the morning. I will be glued to the television, and hopefully some crafting in the afternoon. It's just nice to get an extra day of the weekend. It's just sad for the reason that it is, but hey. So, get all of those. I've got 3 sets of leaves. Like that, and then I'll do the end flower with that bigger die last, and that piece of designer series paper. So the other thing Stampin' Up have got going on at the moment, so we've got World Card Making Day coming up on the 1st of October, and Stampin' Up have got a event going on in the afternoon that day. I think it's 1 till 4. We're completely free. You don't have to be a demonstrator to take part. All the details are over on my Stampin' Up online store, so that's all in the down bar below. But as well as that, we've also got the weekly deals. They are still happening the whole of September. This week's weekly deals are really good, actually. There's some really lovely designer series paper. The kind of black and white paper is on for weekly deal this week, and some embellishments as well, which is fun. And I want to say there's something else going on as well, isn't there? I can't think what it is now. I'll have to have a look in a minute. So, oh dear. Definitely got Sunday night brain. I don't think it helps. I've not actually been in my craft room all week because I don't know if you can tell, I've got a bit of a cold. So my intention is to come live here on Facebook on a Sunday, and to go live over on my YouTube on a Wednesday. And I've missed both this week because I went to, and I'm blaming my children for this one again, we went to a soft play birthday party last Saturday, and I got home and just felt rubbish. And then spent pretty much the whole of Sunday in bed, and so didn't really feel like doing a live, and I haven't actually been in my craft room all week because of that. And then on Wednesday, which would be the other time I normally go live over on YouTube, it's my dad's birthday, and so I was home in plenty of time and I could have done it, but just wasn't really in the mood. So I'm just going to line that up just shy of the top of that piece of designer series paper. And again, get my trusty bit of washi tape out. I do use the same piece of washi tape as well over and over and over again. They do last a little while. Usually at least one whole project, if not a whole session. If I'm crafting for an afternoon, I can usually get quite a lot of die cutting out of one single piece of washi tape. Probably why I've still got so much washi tape left. So, there. And it's just that perfect edge. It's just really pretty. I'm going to just rough that up a little bit, because this is going to be a sort of, not shabby chic, but there's just a hint of something less formal about this card, I think. So I'm going to just grab my bone folder and fold that piece of cardstock over. And I was thinking about whether I needed a little bit of stamping on the piece of Whisper White behind. What do you think? Do you think the piece of Whisper White, Basic White should be plain, or do we think we need something behind it? Tricky. Let's have a, hold on a second, where's the stamp set gone? Let's have, oh, these new, because they're fairly new, these stamps. I've not used them much. And the cling is clung really firmly onto the inside of the stamp case. So I'm going to grab my crumb cake ink out. And I'm going to just ink these up and stamp them off twice, so it's really, really pale. And I'm just going to stamp down one side, and I think that one might be a bit dark, but that's okay. So it's very, very subtle. It just takes the edge off the white, the stark whiteness of the card. So I've also got on my desk the natural finish ribbon, which it also comes if you buy the whole suite. And this ribbon is beautiful. It's really, really super, super soft. And you can stamp on it as well, which I thought I'd considered. I think I'm going to leave it off this time, but that is also, well, it was also a thought. So let me grab my stamp and seal, and I'm just going to layer this card up. So we've got that layer that's going straight onto my card base. Now, my card bases are always the same. They are always half a sheet of cardstock, scored and folded in half. And then my layers are 1/2 centimetre shorter and narrower than that. Then I'm going to pop on this piece of designer series paper, like so. Now, if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to like, comment, share it with your friends, and if you're watching the replay over on YouTube, do let me know that you're watching. I do like to see who's watching a little bit after, because I know that I very rarely catch anybody live, because my life's just too busy for that. It's nice to know that people watch after the event as well. So I'm going to pop up that big floral with some dimensionals. And I'm going to pop that about there. And then these, you see, we can tuck in wherever we really want them. I've done 3, but I wasn't sure I was going to use 3, because we've got this bit of floral, this bit of greenery already. So let's go to a little bit of seal on the back, and then that one up there, and then this floral going in here, there. Do we need another leaf? It's a bit more green. No, that'll do. And then our sentiment, I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals as well. So tuck that in there. Use my grid paper to try and make sure I've got some sort of straight line. And then the last thing I've got for this card is I've got the rustic metallic adhesive backed dots. I love these because they're quite dark and they're not sparkly, but they just add that kind of extra something. I'm going to use the little ones. I'm going to use the other end actually of my take a pick tool. So you've got the the pointy end you take a pic, but you've got this end as well that actually works much better than the stabby end. I saw somebody do this on Instagram the other week and thought, oh my God, they are genius. Absolute genius. There we go. And that is my card for this week. How pretty is that? I thought that was lovely. I really like the blended effect actually as well. Something a little bit different, a little bit more unusual. And that is Cottage Rose. Now, if you want to join in with the Stampin' Up! World Card Making Day event on the 1st of October, do drop me a message and I can send you the link. Or you can pop over to my Stampin' Up! Store. The link is in the description above if you are on Facebook, or the down bar below if you are on YouTube. And I think that's everything I've got to say this week. Thank you ever so much for joining me. This will be live over on my blog tomorrow morning, and replay on YouTube again Monday morning as well. So thanks ever so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.